This just didn't happen overnight. This is decades of not investing. And the root of all this is greed. I'd give anything to go back to the quietness of the way I was. The river is dying clearly in front of our eyes. It doesn't make sense, it really doesn't. It's a horrible part of what my life's become, you know, but I just cannot stand back and let people do what they're doing.
Being a Welshman, water is in our blood. I guess that's everybody too. But it's just something precious. I was lucky enough to be brought up around water, living with water and enjoying it. And I want it to continue. It's not unreasonable, I don't think, that the next generation have clean rivers and healthy rivers to marvel at. Where to begin? Ever since I was 4 or 5, the world of water and what was below it has just fascinated me, really. I don't know why. I think it was my grandfather talking about tiggling trout in some small streams around Cwmbran, but it just amazes me. Then as you get older, you really begin to connect in a much deeper way. There's one coming across the water now. That's called a Maydun, that one there. See it flying? We'll get one in a second, and it's that time of day where they start to come off the water. Oh, come here, you bugger. Yes. I think I got you. This is called a Maydun. My favourite fly. Nice. There we are. I did promise you a Maydun. Not too much further now. Little bullhead. It's the smallest one I've ever seen. Shrimp. Very few nymphs, invertebrates, a few. An array of stuff, which is good. Should be much more, of course, this time of year. The very essence of rivers starts here. If you want a healthy population of anything, these babies are the ones you need to take care of. The whole system thrives and lives off the most microscopic things that are in here, which always amazes me. It sounds silly, but it does. The beautiful River Usk. sometimes. You know, that amount isn't natural, especially this time of year. They've not started spreading slurry yet, so chances are it's diluted sewage. Unbelievable. Britain, 2022. Let's move on.
The river's been part of my life probably for nearly 4 decades. I swim in it, I sleep on its banks, I kayak it, spend most of my time below the surface of the water. It's my office and my playground. We have a huge problem with the chicken farms. We've got over 20 million chickens on the Wye catchment, which are just spewing in chicken manure, and the phosphates in the water from the amount of poultry farms around here is decimating the Wye. Maybe in the last 5-6 years I noticed a slight difference, and then I started tasting the difference in the water, the texture, the taste, the clarity, and what was on the stones below the surface. It was, you know, starting to change quite drastically. It's like on a cliff edge. We're at that last part now that if we don't bring change this year, we've lost the nation's favourite river that's supposed to be one of the most highly protected rivers in the country as well. And then we've got Welsh water pumping in raw sewerage into here, you know, and people aren't aware of this. I cannot tell you how it makes me feel inside to see the disrespect that polluters have on this river. It pains me to the core because it's the river that it's my, you know, it's the river that's me. It's my veins. I know every section. I swim every section. I sleep on its banks. I monitor its wildlife. I monitor what's below the surface, and I absolutely adore it. I'll never stop campaigning until change comes. We can't take on the world, but we can take on what's actually happened outside our front door.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Our river, seepage sewage, makes us shiver. Water, stop polluting our rivers. Welsh water, stop polluting our rivers. Stop polluting our rivers. Stop polluting.
Anyone else who breaks the law on a daily basis gets banged up. Until the directors are held to account, nothing will happen. They just build the fines into their budgets. They're destroying our environment, destroying our rivers, polluting. It's absolutely disgusting. Yeah. £2.5 million in bonuses the directors of Welsh Water. So much for being a not-for-profit company. The directors are creaming it in.
Clean the water, make the noise. Clean the water, make shame on you! Welsh water, shame on you! In our rivers! Stop polluting our rivers! Stop polluting our rivers!
Enough is enough is the phrase we're using at the moment, and we've got to see change happen. It can happen. None of it is rocket science. It's politics, it's investment, and it's making sure people are going to be accountable to deliver change.
That's the NRW data, is it? Yeah. And that's from the 2021 data, is it? So the Y and the Ask are failing. Cowardice does hide in bureaucracy. That's absolutely true. That's really good. God, I'll repeat that. Holding these companies to account is always challenging. They've got to be part of the solution. Let's not pretend otherwise. I've worked in the private sector for over 30 years, and the private sector is really important, but if they can get away with it, they will. And they are getting away with it. So we need a regulator with teeth. NRW it is in Wales, Environment Agency in England.
So because the Y runs through England, Wales, England, it has borders. Nature has no borders. So we have the two agencies, Environment Agency and Natural Resource Wales, that are supposed to be working together and protecting this river.
Let me make things very clear. The importance of the regulator is massive, but that regulator does that job with responsibilities to deliver. And unfortunately, the regulator at the moment is having a woeful record. Now they might want to stand up, and I think it's true, and say they don't have the funding. Well, tell us, regulator, what funding do you need? Yeah, we'll be behind you, we'll support you. We really need you, regulator, doing your work. The recent case in Talgarth on the Linfi, where an anaerobic digester managed to spill millions of gallons of digestate into the Linfi. The fish were literally crawling out of the river, biologically dead for about 3 kilometres. And no prosecution. No one's held accountable. Yes, so regulator, it's time to really stump up and act as a regulator. NRW's 2021 Water Framework Directive classification shows that the proportion of the river failing good ecological status has increased from half to 2/3. What additional budget does NRW need, and over what timescale, to protect and restore this river? Could I just come back on that? And thank you for the response. As always, there's clearly lots of activity, but it doesn't really answer the question. There is, if I understand correctly, there is no plan. There is no target date to achieve anything. There will be lots of activity, what you've just described, but there is no plan to actually get a SAC, a special area of conservation, back into scope, back into spec. token gesture, isn't it? Just a token gesture. How does this work? How do you make change happen? I just despair sometimes, I really do. Just despair.
You know, my own MP, you know, want to use me as a publicity stunt to come swimming with me, to say that he's gonna help, like all of these MPs, and then he turns around and votes the complete opposite. What I've seen and all the meetings that I've been to and the table talking that's gone on, everybody seems to be in each other's back pockets. It's not good enough. It really isn't.
I'm supporting my daughter. She's strongly against all this, and as we all are. Why are we paying sewerage bills for our sewage to be taken away and thrown into the river? We could do that ourselves and we'd get fined for it. It's amazing how she does all this. I mean, we went to the bay.
And I towed the coffin along Cardiff Bay. You know, the police were waiting to arrest me when I got out.
And we wouldn't let them get too close to her.
And I get the coffin over the side and, you know, stop polluting our rivers.
And someone said to me, what if she gets arrested?
And she said, my girl, if she believes in something, she'll go all the way.
She would go that far to stand up for something that she strongly believes in.
And they said, what, to prison?
Nothing will stop her. Nothing will stop her. She is so determined to get people to stand up and listen.
But I put myself out there to just do anything that I can to make people aware.
Might take a bit of time and a lot of shouting and that, but we'll get there.
I feel like crap.
This is our playground. We swim in the rivers, our children come here, you know, it's people that are fishing, use it, so the message needs to go out. Welsh Water needs to clean up the rivers.
This is your river, okay? This is our river. This is happening all over the country, but this is happening on our doorstep. I'm dressed up as green algae. The green algae is suffocating that river because of the amount of phosphates in there. We are losing species. It is dying. It's okay to say, well done, Ange, you're doing a good job. But turning out today is showing that we are not going to accept it. Pollution, not pollution! And then I see children playing in it and I think, oh, you know, it's a sad state of affairs.
Because everything is dying. We've noticed a decline. There's no weed in the river anymore, which used to sustain life. What are NRW doing? Nothing. They refused to find Welsh Water, and now the rivers are just dying. There aren't the fish there that there used to be. There's not the wildlife there used to be. There's not the fly life that there used to be, and we really want it back.
Stop polluting our rivers! Stop polluting our rivers! Stop polluting our rivers! Stop polluting our rivers!
And we will not stop this till change comes, because our river is being used as an open sewer.
I just want to be me again, and I've lost that. And I'm not Ange now. I'm just this woman who's bloody taking on all these different people, and it's pretty crap. So please, anybody out there, support cleaning up the rivers. Contact your MP. If you see pollution, report it. We can all do something. It's okay saying that somebody else will do it, but please, just do that, please.
Who's accountable? Anybody? Anybody here accountable? They'll all be looking at each other. Oh, it wasn't us. Them over there. Yeah, Welsh Government. Oh, Welsh Water. Oh, the farmers. Whatever. They'll all be pointing at each other. Meanwhile, back at the camp, the river's poisoned. Anyway. It's Thursday. I'm probably going to cut the grass now just to take my anger out of the... or maybe I'll just leave it. Let the butterflies have it.